Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hi everyone, my name is Rizky and I am a student. I currently studying in Borneo University, majoring in English education, and yes, in the Faculty of Teachers and Training Educations. So I currently live here in Nunukan Regency, specifically in Pasar Baru. I know that I'm supposed to talk about the one that I have in Tarakan, but unfortunately I'm not there right now. Because of this pandemic, most of the students have to go back to their hometowns for more appropriate dis- uh, distance learning facilities, because you know that it costs quite much for some people. So I specifically live in Pasar Baru. You can guess Pasar Baru is actually a traditional market. So I actually live near the traditional market, actually one of the biggest one in my regency. So just like other traditional market, it is actually, like selling some kind of stuff like food materials, food ingredients. How do we say that? I don't know. It's like chicken and then meats and then fish, fruits, vegetable or so on. Yeah, something like that. And then the most unique one, maybe it's going to be but the thrift shop. The thrift shop is actually kind of shop where you could find a lot of secondhand stuff like clothes and then wallet, jacket or blanket, and then shoes. Yeah, something like that. Kind that you could wear in your body. I also find I also found pillows like 2 or 3 months ago when I visit that place, and it's quite surprising because I thought that they only sell things that you could wear on your body because I never go to like going too far on that place, and when I tried to visit that, trying to like strolling around, I found that there's someone who's actually selling secondhand pillows and was like, what's that? What's going on? But I think it's okay. There's nothing was wrong with that. Um, Most people here live as sellers. They work as the sellers, you can expect, because it's traditional market. So yeah, it's very predictable. And then yeah, that's it. That's that's all about for the first one. And then the second one, I supposed to talk about. Okay, let me remember. Oh, about sport. Talking about sport, my place is actually quite far from the like any place of that you can do any sport activities. It's quite far from here. So, but it's not the reasons that I don't like sport. I honestly not really into sport because since I was child, my parents prevent me to do any hard, like activities that will causing much, that will, like uh, need much energy. Yeah, need much energy. I mean, it could make me feel exhausted. I feel a bit nervous to talk about this one because honestly, I rarely talk about my personal health issues to anyone, but I just want everyone to know I actually got this respiratory issues. So I always try to prevent myself to any hard activities because I know that it will risking my life because I have a very, kind of very strange situations or conditions of um, breathing activities. So I really have to taking care of my health, and then for that I habitually not really into any sports since I was a child, and that's become a habit. But I still taking care of myself. I mean my health. Sometimes I do, like taking a walking, and then sometimes I do jogging, but not too fast in running because I know that it will be risking my life, and yes, something like that. But I I do believe that every children's some people told me like why I'm not really into sport, at least one sport, right? But I don't think that every children should master that, like at least one sport, because I think that it's actually a society standard. There is no obligations that every people should do sport. They have the obligations of taking care of their health and making sure that they could train their body so that they could maintain their health. But it doesn't mean that they have to master the sport. Every people have their own way to being to keep healthy and maintaining their life, and that's how I did that. Because if I do too much sport, I know that it will be not good for my health conditions because I have different kind of situations that all people will understand. So yeah, for something. I think people have to try to normalize that, not to accept myself, but to accept someone maybe that will have the same kind of situations, just like what I face right now. What's that? Oh, the famous sport in my place. It's actually, I don't I can't tell you specifically because kids here are so random. Sometimes they're like football, sometimes they're really into basket. It's actually going, like it depends on the trend, So you just cannot predict which one of the sport is actually the popular one. But I think the maintain one, I mean the one that's actually uh, keep maintaining its popularity is actually football. People here are really into football stuff, and I do think yes, because it's acceptable for both men and women to, like liking that kind of stuff. So I think it's normal, no surprise. And then, what? What I'm going to talk about? Oh, back to the market. The market, I actually love to visit the thrift shop that I told you guys before because it's actually a very interesting place to visit. I mean, in that place, you actually can find a lot of not only cheap, in my case, but also quite near from my home. So sometimes I go there like walking, try to see interesting stuff. I don't It's very rare to buy something, but I do admit that sometimes I buy like pens, 2 or 3 pens there because it's very cheap and it's very cute. I mean, why why would you choose the expensive one if you could get the one with good quality and cheap prices? So you know where I'm going to. Some people might say that it will be not good because it will be dirty, but they just didn't know that. As long as we clean it well, I think there is nothing to be worried. Like, it's actually, you're actually contributing to the reuse, like the stability of the environment. When you try to reuse something, you're actually contribute to that because you're wearing thrift shop. It might be from other people, but at least as long as it's good and then it's clean, there's nothing was wrong. You just have to wear that. People are being so, like being too high, having a good high feeling like they have a higher class, so that they will avoid wearing uh, like second-hand stuff. But actually, I do think it's normal. It's not a big deal for me. Um, the effect of consumerism. Well, talking about consumerism, I do admit that consumerism or being too much consumptive is not good. In social aspect, it is not good because it will create a big, like a thick wall between you and other people, because when you are trying to be too much consumptive, people will other people who is actually not as sluggish, you will feel intimidated and feel discriminated, and it is not good for the mentality of the society here, because it will create arrogancy, and it is not good to, like discriminating people. And I don't believe that, I believe that the consumerism will lead to that kind of risks. And personally, it will also not good for you, because you know that it will be very what it'll be very risking for your future, because people who are actually people who actually consuming a lot of things, they actually lost their opportunity to save more money for their future. So it's not good for some reasons. What's next? I forgot the last questions. What was the last questions? Oh, what might change? So I'm going to tell you a story. So, um, I'm that one kid that not really understand about kinds of. There is something we call as OFO. It's actually an electronic money. I don't really understand that at that time. I didn't bring case, and I asked my friend if she brings any money to cover my bills, and then she said, no, I don't bring any monies, but I have OFO. So But I also have Oppo because I thought that it was actually a brand of phones. And she was like, no, it's not that one. It's actually a e-money. I was like, okay, I just trying to see the transaction. It was quite amazing because, um, like people could buy stuff without a real case money. You know what I mean? And I think that we don't have to wait for the futures, because I do think that we're actually in the future right now. It's just that people, the situations are kept improving and getting better. So yeah, I think that's the changes that you could see. You don't have to wait for the future because we're actually facing that situations right now. Good or bad, I think it's a good improvement. There's nothing to, because you know that money is made by pepper, pepper made by wood, wood made by like tree, and by using imani, I think that it will prevent the use of pepper. Logic, very logic. I think that's enough. Well, okay. I think that's enough. Thank you.